Rheumatic heart disease, a condition that afflicts more than 30 million people globally, kills an estimated 300,000 every year, most of them young people in developing countries. Special correspondent Fred de Sam Lazaro reports on one group that's trying to make a dent in Rwanda. It's part of Fred's series, Agents for Change.
It is an extraordinary reunion held once a year in Rwanda's capital.
You're feeling well? You're feeling healthy?
Nearly 200 people came together. Almost all of them would be dead from a serious heart condition if it weren't for the surgery they got through the project they came to celebrate. They're all survivors of rheumatic heart disease, a condition that's caused by untreated strep throat, an infection that's routinely treated in developed countries with antibiotics like penicillin.
But in places like Rwanda, they don't get treated, so this eventually turns into rheumatic heart disease. Over time, the valves become affected. They either become narrowed so that the blood can't get through them, or they don't close properly. Both of them can result in very severe heart failure and death, premature death, if not treated.
Overwhelmingly, Dr. Chip Bowman says that's what happens in a country that has only 5 cardiologists and no heart surgeons for a population of 12 million. Bowman is an American heart surgeon and with his wife, an intensive care nurse, started a nonprofit called Team Heart 11 years ago. They wanted to draw attention to a condition that afflicts some 1 million young people across sub-Saharan Africa. Once a year, a large volunteer surgical team arrives in Rwanda and sets up in Kigali's King Faisal Hospital for about 3 weeks. In that time, 16 lucky patients will undergo sophisticated open-heart procedures.
The best estimates are that some 30,000 young Rwandans suffer from rheumatic heart disease, so the 16 patients chosen for surgery have gotten here against lottery-like odds. But their selection is far from random.
The team meets the day before surgeries begin to reach the wrenching consensus for the 16 available slots.
Get the impression that there's some air regurgitation here, but
there's the case of 18-year-old William. The doctors were on the fence.
He's got such profound biventricular dysfunction, and I don't think he's a candidate for today.
But surgeon Bruce Levitt felt that with medications, William's heart might strengthen enough to undergo the deeply invasive heart valve repair.
He's one guy that either one shot or he doesn't live.
One of the most difficult aspects of this whole experience is we do have to decide that some patients are not able to undergo this operation.
17-year-old Janvier Dusenjimana was one of the lucky ones. For the last 2 years, his disease has been steadily crippling him.
When I tried to do any sort of work, especially lifting heavy things or farming, I would become weak. I haven't been doing anything, just sitting at home.
He would soon go in for several hours of intricate surgery. The previous case, 16-year-old Olive Mukeshimana, was just out of surgery and recovering in intensive care. Like all others, every aspect of her case and care was reported and deliberated.
Coming off was a bit rocky. The blood pressure was a little bit low.
For her mother just outside, the wait was excruciating.
It's like when you're in labor and you just go through the pain, you're just hoping that the child will be born healthy.
Smile, just one smile.
One day later, that's how it turned out for Olive. Her graduation from intensive care to the recovery unit was marked by jubilant cheering.
I'm really, really happy and really thankful for everything that they have done for her.
Despite these successes, there are reminders of the vast unmet need. Remember William, whose case doctors wondered about at screening? In the end, his disease was deemed too far gone for surgery, a reminder to doctors of the limited options for patients here. In the U.S., he may have been a transplant candidate, that is, if his disease ever progressed this far.
We know almost with a certainty that if we'd been able to see him 2 or 3 years ago, we could have saved him.
This is just Rwanda. All of sub-Saharan Africa is suffering from the same thing.
Rwanda's health minister Diane Gashumba says for years the government's priority has been to deal with infectious diseases like malaria, tuberculosis, and HIV, what she calls the first killers. tackling non-communicable diseases like diabetes and heart disease are only now getting some of the attention they need.
We have a shortage of doctors, and I'm happy that this partnership is really focusing on capacity building, training doctors and nurses. So that is critical, and it gives hope when I see those young doctors like Gasana, like Maurice.
Dr. Maurice Mossoni has been mentored for years by Team Heart. He will complete his training in South Africa and return this spring as Rwanda's first cardiothoracic surgeon.
It places a big responsibility on your shoulders. My biggest worry or challenge will be to transition from a situation that is well equipped to a situation where you have to do with whatever little you have.
And Dr. Mossoni will soon have an unlikely ally. Ernest Simpunga's is the kind of happily ever after story the Bowmans wished they could tell about young William.
He was really quite sick, very small, 17. He weighed 72 pounds.
But he pursued her with irrepressible curiosity.
He would ask me, but if your husband could do my surgery, what would he do? And I would show him a diagram, and each day my heart would break a little bit. I said, I don't think I can leave him and not see him have surgery.
Thanks to a sponsor in Massachusetts, Ernest won the jackpot. He was flown to Boston and did have surgery.
It's been 10 years now, and I still hope to continue with further training and be able to contribute something to this long medical journey.
That journey took him to medical school, an unexpected dividend, the Bowmans say, toward their eventual goal.
We will not feel that we have accomplished what we've set out to do until there's a Rwandan surgeon at the table with a Rwandan anesthesiologist at the head of the table and the patients in the ICU taken care of by Rwandan ICU nurses.
When he graduates this November, Dr. Ernest Simpunga plans to specialize in cardiology. For the PBS NewsHour, this is Fred DeSam Lazaro in Kigali, Rwanda.
Staying in Africa, the demonstrations that have swept through northern Africa